Talkin TNT with Conway.
Aloha, it is I, Conway Fitzgerald, and this is Talkin TNT with Conway.
What is this?
This is my companion piece to the series, sort of my way to allow you to dig a little bit deeper, get some inside scoops, chat with the author a little bit. I am in my full summer garb with my Aloha shirt, and this hat has been very popular in the city, I might add. I'm getting lots of compliments, so I know it's an outdoor sun hat, but I'm just in the spirit of the time. I hope you're all enjoying your summer and getting to do some fun stuff with people you love. I'd like to welcome all of my new subscribers. Welcome! And of course, as always, I want to thank my Patreon supporters for everything you do, helping us attract those new subscribers to the story. Thank you. Today on the show, let's break some news. Viewer comments. A new quiz. Plus a very special guest.
Let's break some news.
Perhaps you're aware, perhaps not, that the new triumvirate is being written as I produce this. So my first breaking news, of course, is here it is. This is chapter 6. And it's pretty hefty. This is a pretty hefty one. And it took a little bit longer than normal because I'm starting to find the challenge of the 3 different time periods that this story is involved in. The present day, which is Aermine being tried in Voss, and then 141 years ago, which was right after the giant killers ended, and then about 40 years after that. So there are 3 significant time periods that I'm trying to talk about within this one book. So sometimes I really have to think through who, what, and what they know then and how. But I am very excited to get reading on this and get it out to you folks. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be a really good one. Also, I should mention what I can, and that I've been working on a very special top secret project. As I promised all of you, I'm going to start pitching again. I'm going to start getting this story out to some people who might be able to help me get it published. So one of the things I've been working on is a new pitch deck for it. And you talk about challenges. Getting a 180,000 word novel down to a 20-minute explanation, I think that was the most challenging thing I've ever had to do as a writer. But hearing back from some of my most trusted beta readers, I think I pulled it off, but we'll see. Also, in the meanwhile, I've been promising you folks some new music, so look for that. I have some more Zeppelin covers I did with my Led Blimpie band back in the day that I'd like to share with you. These are recordings that we made and I'm very proud of.
Your viewer mail.
Have I told you lately how much I love your comments? I know I've mentioned it before, the YouTube alga thingy that decides who it's going to share with the world is really dependent upon things like, do people like this video and click the like button, or do they comment on it? Is there any interaction with the series? So I always feel like my listen numbers are great, and I thank you all for listening. I just always feel it's necessary to let you know that punching down on that like button and leaving your comments, as many as you like, just slather them on, are much appreciated because it helps spread the word about what we're doing. I also like to feature some of your comments on this show, so you never know. It could make you famous. My first comment comes from Bill Deal of ABC Radio. Bill writes, "Spectacular, great storytelling, love it." Bill Deal, ABC Radio correspondent. Folks, this is my first ever review from a real media person. I'm very excited about it. Bill, thank you so much for listening and for taking the time to leave that comment. Gosh, maybe things are looking up. William Latham writes, "Just finished listening and not sure how much longer we can really call them boys. They're becoming men. So courageous to take a stand. I love it. Absolutely, William. Thank you so much, as always, for listening and commenting. And I think you're absolutely right. I think courage is when you're afraid and you don't know, but you still carry on. I mean, I always had a problem with the character Superman as a character because, I mean, apart from kryptonite, what? He's invincible? That's not really being courageous and dealing with things. Whereas when you're not sure of the outcome and you're really scared, but then you proceed anyway, that to me is what is real courage, when you take a stand. So I think everybody can sort of get inspired from that because we all deal with that every day in our lives. And it's my hope that my stories are not only fun and get your mind going, but also inspire you a little bit that, yeah, you can do it. Also, I've noticed I've been getting several comments from folks that I believe are in different languages, and I'm fascinated by this. So I have a question for you. If you can, I'd like for you folks to let me know what country are you listening in, and whether or not you use the YouTube captions to translate into different languages. I'd love to hear if some of you folks are listening to the Giant Killers in other languages, or even if English is a second language, if you listen in English, and because it's really fascinating to see YouTube's got really good analytics, and I'm seeing that my stuff is getting listened to all over the world, and that's so exciting to me. So let me know. Do you folks? What country are you listening from? And do you use the captioning function to recaption the Giant Killers or the New Triumvirate into another language? I'd be curious to hear that. The auto captioning that YouTube does just from listening to my voice, because I haven't taken the time to input it, which I probably should, but it's getting better and better. I'm finding as I look at the captions that they're generally pretty spot on, and they're even starting to spell some of my characters' names right. My next guest has been a loyal listener and has become a friend of the show. Lately, she's been giving of her time and artistic talents, sharing some of these fabulous slides with me for the show, including these of Sherman and Marsek. And then, of course, Faye Hareslet. Rose, welcome to the show. I'm sorry you're having internet connection problems, but welcome. Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can still hear you.
Excellent. Oh, well, we love your stuff, and I love your style. So how would you say you go about coming up with ideas for drawings for the show?
Generally, like, I read parts of the chapter you give me, and there are certain parts I see in the chapters that I think in my head, like, it'd be something. Sometimes I see scenes in there that I do want to draw, and like, I like to get like an image in my head about like what I'm seeing, and I like to keep the image in mind. But usually, like, when I draw, like, what I do put down in the image in my head usually isn't the same because like I'm not too good of an artist.
Well,
so
I know what you mean. I'm the same way. Like you think you know what you want to do, and if you can get close to it, it's a win, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I do tend to improvise a lot when I'm drawing.
Uh-huh. I like the way you would, on some of the drawings, created sort of like multiple scenes within one slide. I think that's really cool. That's a really cool idea. What are some of your artistic influences, like some of the things that you're into?
Usually like to see other people with their kind of art, and like it really inspires me to see how like I know there's this like one YouTuber. Her name is Camila Cuevas. I don't know if I pronounced her last name right. So she actually does animations like here on YouTube, and for like a video game, if anyone knows who she is. And to see like with the very first episode she did and like her latest episodes, like just like all the improvement stuff, like I found that really inspiring. And especially how it started like pretty simple at first and it got more detailed later. And I really like some of like more simple drawings and stuff. And so usually when I'm drawing, I kind of like to think about some of the animations like she does. Because I like her more simplistic style. Like, even though it's getting more detailed.
Well, I love what you had said about how it's improving more and more as she goes. Believe you me, I can relate to that. And I think that's important, right? If you have an outlet and some place with which to, be inspired to create art, that's how, we put in those 10,000 hours and get even better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there any other projects or stuff you'd like to share with our audience?
Yeah, pretty much the only thing I'm doing now is just creating like pictures for your book, because that's what I really like doing at the moment.
Cool.
I find it really fun.
Excellent. Well, I think, the beautiful thing about art to me is just having something in you that you share with others, and it creates a reaction,
Yeah.
And I so much appreciate it when one of the biggest thrills for myself is when I create stuff and then it touches people so that they create art. I think that's the coolest thing ever. So I'm so grateful for everything that you've contributed and all the slides that you've made. Thank you for making the show that much better. I really appreciate it a lot.
Yeah, thank you for putting this story out there for us to enjoy.
Aw. Well, we have an exciting new chapter. We have an exciting new chapter coming. So hopefully, if you're inspired and you can add a couple of more bits of art, I'll be all ears and eyes or something. Okay. Well, Rose, you enjoy the rest of your summer, and we'll chat again really soon. Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you so much. You see, folks, if you feel motivated and you think you really like this story, you want to take part in it, you can. Now, I'm someone who believes in it's the notion and understanding the impression and sharing it your way. I love all the different ways some of these characters have been depicted. Now, for the quiz, we're going to be asking a question based upon this character. You might remember this drawing. This is something that I whipped together in about 20 minutes, and then I used pencil and then some ink. So, it's not exactly Michelangelo, but it was an image that I needed for a specific character who is the subject of today's quiz. So let's do the quiz.
Let's do the quiz.
This particular quiz is a two-parter. That means there are two questions, so there are two answers that must be included in your answer in the comments below. So, as always, the rules are, feel free to ask as many questions as you want. I give hints, and if you want to, you can, after hearing and reading other people's questions, if you think that gives you the answer, go for it. The first person to answer the quiz correctly in the comments below will win an IOU for a first edition copy of The Giant Killers signed by moi. So here's the quiz. In Chapter 5, a pasty-faced man with no discernible features floats into the office to make a large donation in Ermine's defense. Who was the man? That's the first part of the question. First part of the question, who was this man? Second part of the question is, where did all of his money come from? So if you think you know the answer, be first to answer completely both questions in the comments below, and you could be the proud owner of your own signed edition of The Giant Killers when it's released. As always, thank you so much for watching, everyone. Please feel free to reach out if you want to take part as a beta reader slide maker. Whether or not you decide to follow through with it or not, you can reach out to me at conwayfitzgerald@gmail.com, and I'll share the next chapter with you. If you get inspired, you want to do a slide, just let me know and you can contribute it. Now, as I said before, it won't make you rich, but I really do treasure all of the contributions that I get in all ways, shapes, and forms from my supporters. I treasure you all. Thank you so much. Until next time, this has been Talking TNT with Conway.
This has been Talking TNT with Conway. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share with all your friends.